A warm welcome in today's episode. One of the things that is so common for us as Christian women and for human beings in general is that when we try to sit in silence or contemplation, lots of things are happening inside. We might get thoughts. I used to get very distracted, and my mind still gets distracted at times when I contemplate or sit in silence and is moving from one topic to another, or emotions might come up. I was just fine, and all of a sudden, during that silence, a wave of sadness or grief might pop up, seemingly out of nowhere. Or all of a sudden, their body sensations or aches, or when noticing they were so tired. This is very common, and I want to demystify this that this is actually a process. But what we want to do is find a way to get ourselves grounded in that process. And that's what I'm going to talk today about, how to stay in God, in our true self, in silence. So no matter what happens, we can honor him and give gratitude to God. And if you're a regular, I want to welcome you back. And if you don't know me, I'm Dr. Ioana Popa, co-founder of Team for the Soul, Christian mom and wife, spiritual care life coach, and a physician psychiatrist, and educator, and passionate about learning and growing and also serving and doing ministry work and giving to others like Christ, just like you. And I'm on a mission to support Christian women professionals and servant leaders to regenerate on the go, because there's a way to do that, that we can feel fulfilled, that we can prevent burnout, move from grief to hope, and live the fullest life in Christ, that Christ and God really means for us, so that you can give to others with joy and peace, that peace that surpasses all understanding, energy, and purpose. So if you wish to serve and give others in Christ, but feel tired or stressed or depleted on a busy treadmill, and at times with Sunday night blues in spite of loving what you do, or if you feel selfish or struggle to find the time to truly take care of yourself and feel the presence of God every moment, and if you want sustainable, simple, organic, and holistic self-care habits, they don't add more to your to-do list, then this is for you. And in this show, I provide integrated knowledge from science, psychology, spiritual care, and Christian faith with practical tips to help you balance your life, body, mind, heart, and soul as you serve in your vocation, your work, family, and church, with simple, holistic daily self-care from inside out, so that you can serve others with peace and joy using empowering tips from science, psychology, and spiritual care that are aligned with our Christian faith. So if you're ready, let's dive in to grow so that we can serve others in Christ. We hear nowadays very often about sitting in silence or doing contemplative practices, or you might be familiar with Jesus' prayer. And we wonder, well, how do we do this? What's happening? I get distracted, feelings pop in and out. That happens to me and happened for a long time. And I want to demystify that these phenomena will happen. Just because we are practicing and getting close to God, it doesn't mean that thoughts or emotions or body sensations will not show up for us. They will, but there is a process to move through it. And usually in my programs, either asynchronous learning, like Growing in Christ and Renewal in Action, or in my community, More Bearing in Christ for Christian women, or in my one-to-one coaching, I help to solidify these practices. And the biggest principle is that inside, in our one of the brain functions that we have is that of awareness, what psychology calls a true self. There is a sense of presence, of grounding. Internal family systems are very good at explaining and guiding people how to experience that. The same for psychosynthesis methodology. And this true self, this sense of awareness, is something that is in between our thoughts, our emotions, and body sensations. From a Christian perspective, we might call this soul or spirit. We can get into very long debates about the name and the origin of the word and whatnot. I'm not doing this because I'm very practical and I want to help you to grasp, however you call that sense for yourself, use that word. Another way we can think about it is the fruits of the Spirit or the image and likeness of God. There's something in us. We're not just our thoughts, we're not just our emotions, we're not just our body, that we have also our soul, our spirit that is in communion with God. And our process is to moving to realizing that communion. God is already everywhere, filling all things, including in us, but we sometimes just are not aware because thoughts and stories might come up, emotions, and we feel sometimes that's felt separation. But that is just a felt sense, is not necessarily the reality. The reality, we are born in God, and God is guiding us lovingly. So, how can we use this principle from psychology, the true self, the sense of awareness, in a way that can be edifying spiritually as Christians, especially as we try to stay in silence or use contemplative practices? So here's my tip for you. If you're multitasking, this is a time to come back and really listen to this. I will bring a verse and I will wrap this up together as what is that one tip that you could use. I mean, there are many ways to do silence, contemplative practices. You'll hear lots of ideas. But bottom line, ultimate goal, so they're all pointing to God. The ultimate goal is primary theology. The ultimate goal is your unique and loving relationship with God, where you feel God's love and fulfillment and thriving in you already. And this is what I want for you. So here is a quote from the Bible that we will use. Not necessarily, you can use this in your contemplative practice. That's awesome. But I want you to also get the principle. So even when you sit in silence and contemplation, and you might get distracted and pulled in by stories or emotions or whatever is happening in your life at the moment, you have this guiding post. All right. So here is the verse. If you want to take notes, you can pause me and write it down. This is from Jeremiah 33:3. One of my mentors shared with me, and it's a lovely verse. Call to me, and I will answer you and show you great and mighty things which you do not know. Jeremiah 33:3 from New King James Version. I'm going to read it again. Call to me, and I will answer you and show you great and mighty things which you don't know. So here is how we're going to bring it all together. Staying in the unknown, not knowing. It's one of the qualities to be in that awareness of that true self. When we think we know something for sure, usually it's our mind. But many times sitting in that space, in the present moment, in the unknowing, it's one of the qualities of the true self and of awareness. So remember, when we get to the edge of your thoughts and you get to the edge of emotions, or there are lots of emotions coming on, just stay grounded in this idea. It's okay what I don't know. I have no idea what's happening right now, but I can call unto God and God will answer you. It will show you great and mighty things. So that's all we need. In silence and contemplation, when we have no idea what's happening, we've lost our center, to just call unto God. God, here I am. I need you. And God will answer you. So I will read the verse one more time. Call to me, and I will answer you and show you great and mighty things which you don't know. Jeremiah 33:3 from New King James Version. So I hope this encourages you when to continue to stay in silence and do contemplative practices. I have several here in this show. You can find out when you do them, though. Don't multitask. This is a time when you actually want to sit down and being quiet. And also, I have several of them in my programs, and I want to encourage you. The whole point of any contemplative practice or staying in silence is to call unto God. So, because God is everywhere, filling all things, and He always wants to draw near to Him. And with that, I'm going to end with a prayer. Dear God, thank you so much for your presence and for creating us. It's just so amazing to be alive. I thank you and I praise you, and I want to invite prayers to lift up the listener. May she be full of joy and energy and peace and your trust and feel your presence. And may she continue to do amazing things in the world to give you glory and move from glory to glory. Thank you so much for listening this episode. I don't take your attention for granted. You could choose to do many things in this world. And the fact that you're here listening to this, especially at the end of the episode, in this multitasking world with lots of distraction, that means a lot to me. So type in the chat where you are, if you have any questions for me or how this episode impacted you, and share with other women who might need this. We never know who might be moved by this message. And with that, I thank you for all you do. And until next time, I say goodbye for now.